What if I told you that in the heart of southern Africa, there stands a medieval skyscraper built without a single drop of mortar, a single ounce of cement, or a single metal nail? Imagine a fortress so massive that its walls rise 36 feet into the sky, constructed from over 1 million hand-carved granite blocks, stacked with such impossible precision that they have defied gravity for 700 years. This is not a myth. This is not a legend. This is Great Zimbabwe, the House of Stone, and for over a century, the world was told that the people who lived here were too primitive to have ever built it. The year is 1871. A German explorer named Karl Mach emerges from the thick African bush and stands frozen in awe. Before him sits a silent, stone city draped in vines, a sprawling complex of towers and winding passages that look like something out of a dream. But instead of marveling at the genius of the Shona people who built it, Mach does something unthinkable. He tells the world that these walls were built by the biblical Queen of Sheba, or perhaps lost Phoenicians from the north. Why? Because the truth was too dangerous to admit that African engineers had mastered the art of dry stone masonry. The ability to stack stones so perfectly that they locked together by weight alone would destroy the colonial narrative that Africa had no history. But the stones don't lie. Look closely at the great enclosure. These walls are not just boundaries, they are a symphony of geometry. The outer wall stretches over 800 feet in a perfect, sweeping curve. At its base, it is 20 feet thick, tapering elegantly as it rises toward the heavens. And at the summit of these walls, the builders left a signature, a chevron pattern of dark stone that ripples like the scales of a serpent, a symbol of fertility and the life-giving power of water. This was the seat of the Mambo the King. While Europe was trapped in the middle of the 100 Years' War, the architects of Zimbabwe were perfecting a style of architecture that modern engineers still struggle to replicate today. Step inside the great enclosure and you are met by the ultimate mystery, the Conical Tower. It stands 33 feet tall, a solid monolith of stone with no doors, no windows, and no hollow center. It is a silent sentinel. Some say it was a giant granary, a symbol of the king's ability to feed his people. Others believe it was a spiritual lightning rod, a bridge between the earthly realm and the ancestors. Around it, the air was once thick with the sound of thousands of people. At its peak, this city was home to 18,000 citizens, a bustling metropolis in a world that many thought was empty. But Great Zimbabwe was not an isolated island in the savannah. This was a global superpower. Archaeologists digging in the valley ruins have pulled secrets from the dust that link this African city to the furthest corners of the earth. They found blue and white porcelain from the Ming Dynasty of China. They found engraved glass from the workshops of Persia. They found millions of glass beads from India and Indonesia. The gold from the mines of Zimbabwe didn't just stay in Africa, it traveled down the Golden Road to the Swahili coast, where it was traded for the finest silks of the East. Your ancestors weren't just farmers, they were the bankers of the Indian Ocean, fueling a global economy centuries before the first European ship ever rounded the Cape. And then, there are the birds. 8 majestic creatures carved from soapstone, perched on pedestals 5 feet high, guarding the eastern enclosure. These are the Zimbabwe birds, messengers from the gods. They represent the battler eagle, the bird that circles closest to the sun. When the British invaded in 1890, they stole these birds, scattering them across Europe and South Africa like trophies of war. It took nearly a century for the birds to fly home, but their return marked the rebirth of a nation. By 1450, the city began to go quiet. The resources were exhausted, the salt was gone, and the people moved once again. But they left behind a message written in granite. For decades, The Rhodesian government censored archaeologists, pressured them to lie, and threatened to fire anyone who proved that Africans built these walls. But you cannot censor the wind, and you cannot hide a mountain. Today, the House of Stone stands as a testament to an eternal truth: Africa was never discovered. Africa was always there, building, trading, and reaching for the stars. The walls are still standing. The birds have come home. The lion speaks. Follow us for more historical discovery.